Hello everyone, it's Don Mahoney again. Today I'm talking with a good friend of mine, Nicole Toles. Now, unlike a lot of the featured interviews, Nicole is not a millionaire. However, she has a lot of good information she'd like to share, and I thought that her story is going to be highly appreciated with a lot of the folks out there that are going to be struggling within this economy. So Nicole, how do you do?
I'm great. How are you doing?
Okay. Tell us, because I think your story is just so amazing, because you're one of the few people that I know that have had a lot of challenges, especially when you first came to this country from Germany. And unlike a lot of people that have been in a challenging type of situation, you seem to overcome. I'd like you to tell the folks out there your amazing story on how you overcame some of these challenges.
Okay. Well, I came over here 8 years ago to this country from Germany. I had nothing but 2 suitcases.
Wow.
No kids, no nothing at that time. I came to Philadelphia. I stood with my dad for the first 6 months. The first month I started looking for a job right away. I found a job at the airport as a check-in agent working for Lufthansa as a part-time. And real quick I figured out, the part-time is not making it.
Right.
I had to find me a full-time job. I moved to Richmond, Virginia after 6 months and started working at the Family Dollar as an assistant manager, and I became pregnant right away. I had my first son. He's 6 years old now, and me and his dad separated, and then I had to figure out how to make a living with a baby. I came back to Philadelphia when he was born and figured out how to make a living with a child basically in this country. And I rented me a room. It was a room in a 3-bedroom house. It was with strangers. The rent was $50 a week. And I put my child in daycare and I worked wherever actually I can find a job. I work in the credit union as administrative assistant. I had cleaning jobs. I did nanny jobs. I just utilized all the skills which I can think of. Basically, I worked in the storage place as a property manager. I just took everything on where I was accepted basically.
So you wore many hats.
Basically because every skills I had, I utilized. I know I'm good with my hands. So, and I knew, okay, I raised my child, so childcare comes close, basically. I know I clean my house, I keep my stuff neat, so housekeeping is always an option for me. Administrative skills, you always have them. You know your Microsoft Office, basically everybody knows it nowadays. So
Right.
I just used that for administrative. Property manager, I knew, I can clean up the property and everything. So I started just putting applications out. No matter what it was, I just applied, and whatever accepted me, that's the job I took on basically. And then when I couldn't afford the childcare anymore, I figured, okay, I still need to make money to make a living. So I started, then I had my twins. I had my twins. Then I met my twins' father in Philadelphia, and I had a set of twins. They 4 now. And we separated too right at the beginning when they was born. And I figured, okay, I cannot afford childcare for 3 kids. I need to do something but still make money. So for me, the closest thing was go back in childcare, but do it from my own home.
Wow.
Where I can have my kids with me and don't have these expenses.
So you pretty much raised your children at home, but you also
Worked at home as a nanny basically,
Oh,
and
that's great.
babysit other kids, and like a childcare basically. And that's how I did it. But I always kept the housekeeping jobs. Always did.
So you still did other things in addition to being
Absolutely.
the at-home nanny.
Right. Not on the weekends when I did, because I worked 7 days. I always worked 7 days since I had my kids. And when I had the twins on the weekend, when I worked on the weekend for housekeeping, that's the only time when I had to pay a babysitter.
Wow.
Because I was really trying to minimize as much as expenses as I could for the child care expenses on my kids, because I know they're very high.
Okay.
So that's why I worked 7 days, and that extra money from the housekeeping was more than I had to put out for the other babysitter, so it was worth to go out to do the housekeeping.
Well, can you give us an idea of just what your budget looked like? I mean, you were obviously you're paying rent, and you have some of your home expenses, but how much money were you actually earning from the nanny services?
I made great money working at home. I used to charge $100 or $150 per child a week. And at one point I worked in-home nanny. And with the in-home nanny, I used to make $600 a week. Then I had the housekeeping jobs on the weekend. So I brought home $1,000 a week just with housekeeping and nanny in their homes working. Now at that time, yes, I put my kids to daycare because I made great money.
Right.
But I figured pretty quick. My daughter was 3 months old. The daycare provider pulled her arm out the socket. So that's when I was like, okay, I need to bring them home and figure something out to do that I can be around them 24/7 because I didn't have no trust anymore in other child care providers. So, and then my job where I worked at the credit union, they started telling me I take too many days off because when they was born, you have to run for all these doctor appointments. So I didn't have no more days off, and I don't have no support net over here at all.
Right.
Even my dad lives over here.
No one could call you. Hey, come on over, help me.
Nobody. Even my dad lives over here in Southwest, but I'm not in touch with him at all. So I don't have no contact with nobody of my family over here. So there is no support at all. It's me and my 3 kids. Their dad is not in their life, so there is nobody. So therefore, I had to figure out, okay, what I can do that I have to run to these doctor appointments but still make money and always be available in case they're sick and everything. So that's when I figured out, okay, the child care in my home.
Now, you mentioned running around. So you have a car, and did you buy a new car?
Well, it was a used car. It was to my old landlord, basically. He offered me the car to purchase for $1,500.
Oh, that's great.
And I was like, great. So he brought it from Georgia down here, and perfect condition. There was nothing wrong with the car.
Wow.
Actually, so that's how I had the car.
Okay, and how many years ago was that?
When the twins was born, 4 years ago.
So, and have you bought a new car since?
Well, I just had an accident 3 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago. It's totaled now, so I need to purchase me now a new car.
But you didn't, even though you were making over $1,000 a week, you didn't go running out and buy a new car.
No, because my first thing was always put something to the side for rainy days because I went through too many rainy days. I had one time a situation where I totally ran out of money. My twins were still in diapers. I didn't have no food in my house.
Wow.
For 3 days.
Wow.
And I was like, how am I gonna feed these kids? Oodles and noodles. 3 days. The twins was there. It was hard. No diapers. I had to put cloths on them, paper towels, whatever I had. For 3 days. So that was the toughest time, and that's when I learned to set something to the side.
Okay.
So with that,
that's a hard lesson.
There was a very hard lesson. It was summertime. They didn't have no pool, nothing, and I felt really bad. And I was like, that's what you get from keep spending that money like that. So because of that, I learned, even though I make a lot of money, I still set something to the side for rainy days. And I had some rainy days still till the day, but I always had that backup money now. Right. So that helped me out really a lot. So okay, I had child support now for a little bit, now it's off again. So for that rainy time right now, I still have that money to the side, which I can use always.
Now, have you ever been on public assistance or any of the subsidy programs?
Well, I was when Malachi was born for 2 months.
That's the oldest son.
That's my oldest son, right.
Okay.
I was for 2 months, but that was it. Ever since then, I didn't.
Since then, you've been doing it on your own? I've
been doing it on my own. I buy my own food. I have my own medical. For me, I don't have no medical, but for my kids, I have medical because it's too expensive for me and the kids. But my kids do have medical. I don't get no cash, no food stamps, no WIC, no nothing.
Okay. So before you learned this valuable lesson of saving and putting stuff to the side for a rainy day, what were you doing with your money? How would you spend it?
Well, it was because I only had that one child at the time. It was children's place clothes, the most expensive clothes for the child. I didn't care. Every day I just went to the store and bought him the best clothes.
Okay.
And bought him toys constantly, and we was traveling every weekend somewhere.
Wow.
because I really didn't care at one point because the money came in
So quickly.
so quick, and as quick as it came in, as quick as it went out. We
Yeah.
went to dinner all the time. It was a not, like no control because I knew the big money comes in basically. I bought me clothes every day almost.
Oh, wow.
I didn't care.
Okay.
But it's a lesson learned. You just learn as you go. And with 3 kids, it's much, much harder. Absolutely. You have to budget much, much more.
Mhm.
They get older, it's different requests they have now slowly. They want the video games and everything.
Right.
So it's totally different.
So how different is it as far as your
Well-
shopping? How do you spend your money now?
Back then, I only purchased brand new stuff, first
Right.
of all, in the store, brand new stuff. Now, I do go Craigslist a lot. I utilize Craigslist. I tell everybody utilize Craigslist. Craigslist is the best source. I purchased a lot of toys from over there. I purchased all my furniture on Craigslist. I purchase everything basically really secondhand nowadays. The only thing which I really purchase is clothes, but all the electronics, gadgets, and everything is secondhand now.
Okay.
So that's definitely a lesson learned. But before the big money came in, of course you purchased everything brand new.
So you're being more frugal with your money. You're looking for bargains.
Absolutely.
So even for the home, do you buy new furniture for your home?
No, I haven't bought no. Everything in here is secondhand off of Craigslist. Everything.
Still looking at me.
Oh. I'm sorry. Everything in this apartment is secondhand off of Craigslist. It's free stuff. Look on the curbside. They throw a lot of good, great things out in the suburbs on the curbside. Absolutely. And you just take a bucket of paint and paint over and things looks brand new. Can you please record my apartment so they can see it? No, but it's really true. They absolutely.
Okay. So, and for the children's clothes, do you go and buy brand new clothes most of the time? Or you do some...
No. Right now, I do get a lot of hand-downs because through my clients, which I really appreciate, the cleaning jobs I have on the weekend, they have kids in my kids' age, and they give me a lot of hand-downs, basically, what their kids cannot wear. I get a lot of these clothes, so I really don't have to purchase a lot of clothes anymore for my kids.
That's great.
Barely. And it's all about, I start really doing connections with people in my kids' age. That's when you get hand-downs. They exchange it or you get hand-downs. And it's really great stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I have hand-downs for my kids, and I give, I try to get very nice clothes when I do buy them.
Absolutely.
For my kids, and I'm never going to give anybody something ratty
Correct.
that the kids just totally
Absolutely.
destroy. No, you give gently worn clothing.
Absolutely.
And
The only thing I
yeah.
purchase brand new is the socks and the underwear. Other than that, pajamas, everything is hand-downs.
Wow.
And it's great stuff. Looks brand new.
Okay.
Absolutely.
For yourself, do you buy thrift clothing sometimes, or?
For myself, no. I admit that. But I barely don't go clothes shopping anymore for myself because I still work till the day, 7 days. There's no time really to go out for me anymore.
Mm.
At the end of the day, I just want to get my house back in shape and go to sleep. So, no, I really don't purchase nothing anymore.
Okay.
It's like once in a lifetime. If I know I really go somewhere to a nice event, then I go out and purchase me something. But it's rare. It's really rare due to me working so much.
Right. Now, you mentioned saving. Just how much, let's just use $1,000 as a figure. How much of that 1,000 would you save?
Well, it always depends on your expenses. See, my expenses, my rent is $730. And then, of course, I have my babysitting fee, my electric, my, and one thing I have to always say is minimize every bill as much as you can.
Right.
My phone provider is Metro PCS. I know I don't use that, all these apps and everything. So I have a $40 bill or now a $50 bill
Right.
for Metro PCS. I don't have cable because 9 out of 10 I'm never home. I don't watch TV. These 1 or 2 movies which I really would watch on it, I can watch on Netflix. Where I have my internet costs me $30 a month on my laptop. So, and then I have Netflix, which costs $8. So therefore I save over $100, which I would have on cable. I don't
Right.
have cable. Because I hear sometimes people tell me they pay $170 for a cable bill, which is outrageous. Why? I have that decoder, what they call it?
The DVR?
No, that converter box. Converter box. The converter box I have, where it's really pretty great channels on it, absolutely. And all I watch is my news to see the weather, honestly. And my kids watch, it's a church channel on it where they have cartoons all day, so they can watch that in the evening a little bit. But if they want to watch really something different, I turn my Netflix on my laptop, and you can watch all the movies, which is actually really on cable too. So therefore, these are really bills you can really minimize, absolutely. The fancy telephone bills with all these ringtones, it's a waste of money, absolutely. So you really need to minimize all your bills in the first thing before you, trying to save money. And that's what I did. Until the day I can still save up money because I don't have these expenses. I have a car. I have my car insurance paid every month. Well, my car insurance is $120. It's great.
Yeah.
Really. And like I say, I have my babysitting fee every week.
So
And always find people who with babysitting. Don't get them off the internet because most of the time they charge hourly rates and it's too expensive. Always trying to find somebody, an old grandma, a neighbor, somebody who can watch your kids. First of all, it's a trust issue.
Right.
It's a trust, and most of the time they only charge you a couple dollars compared to these professionals, which do the same job which a neighbor would do.
Right. So that's important because childcare can be so expensive.
It's very expensive. Childcare is very expensive.
Yeah, it's a good business, and you seem to have picked it up.
I picked it up, and it's really hard work. But at the end of the day, everybody does the same thing with the kids. At the end of the day, it's just because it's a center, they can charge $175 a week. Private person charge $150.
Okay.
That's the only difference.
Now, you mentioned that you're also cleaning. So can you tell us just, what services you provide in your cleaning service and how much more does that supplement your income?
First of all, with these cleaning jobs, what I do is the great thing is you get paid right on the spot. With your regular job, you always have to wait, at the end of the week to get your pay. So this is definitely a tremendous source of income for me to keep me until the next paycheck comes in case, your full-time job is not really paying you that much. It helps me a lot because first of all, you really build a good connection with these people. So they always willing to go, a little bit more than what the pay is. They set these amounts, but at the end of the day, you definitely come out with more every time.
Providing that you do a good job.
Absolutely. You really have to do a good job. If you don't do a good job, they get rid of you because you're replaceable very quick in every job, and we all know that.
Right.
And like last Saturday, I was only cleaning the house so far for 2 years with my Saturday client. Now she just added if I can cook for her when I come Saturdays for the whole week. And I said, absolutely. So that's another $100 only for cooking within these 6 hours while I'm already there. So that's why I say it's all about the connection you make with your clients and how hard you work. If you do a good performance on these jobs, trust me, it pays off at the end of the day. It absolutely pays off. I have another client, she's a blind lady. She's the author who writes a book, very famous. And she had some people coming to her house, painting her house, and they stole actually all her jewelry. They robbed her, basically. No. Yes, they robbed her. And she just shut down and said nobody can come to her house anymore besides me.
Wow.
And at the beginning I thought, okay, wow, lost the job because, the trust issue is gone. Somebody robbed her, she don't have no trust. And then she called me up and said, Nicole, I really hope that you're still going to come over. And I was like, what? And she said, yes, I trust you. So that's why I say you really have to build a good connection with your clients and do a great job on top of it.
Right.
So once you do that, trust me, they refer you. That's how I get always next jobs and next job. They refer you constantly. There is some other neighbors who wants me so bad over there, to clean their houses and everything, but it's just time-wise, I couldn't do it anymore. I have 4 jobs at the current moment. I still need time for my family. But they fighting basically over me lately.
Wow.
So it's all about, you know,
That's a good thing.
how absolutely, but I know exactly if I were to lose one job today, it wouldn't hurt me because there would be a next job lined up already due to the good connection. They invite me to their personal events. Daughter had birthday, they have cookouts, they invite me and my family constantly. That's why I say it's all about, you know, your performance. First thing is about your performance. They had somebody I was working over there for a year on my Saturday clients. Working over there for a year, then they wanted me to work full time for them, and I told them I can't do it because I still had my other job, my full time job, and I told them I can't do it. So they said, okay, we're gonna put an ad out if somebody comes. That's it. And I was like, sure, absolutely, no problem. So they found a friend of her who's gonna do it, and then they say they cannot afford both of us, and I was like, no problem, absolutely. After 2 months, they called me back.
Wow.
And say they fired her because she's constantly all day long on the phone, and she do not do a good job on the housekeeping. So it's very, very important, your job, you know, your performance at the job basically. If you really do what they expect you to do, they go above and beyond for you.
Yeah.
But if you don't, but that's only really in the private sector. If you in the business world out there, that above and beyond is not.
Right.
They don't recognize it. They really don't. But in the private sector, absolutely. People will recognize your hard work.
That is great information to tell people because, you know, the economy's so bad. People, they can't afford to sit at home and just work one job and get one income.
Absolutely not. And there's so many jobs out here. It's so many. You can have, I just thought the other day I would put an ad out for a wake-up service. A lot of people don't want to be waked up by their cell phones, or they don't even hear it. Put an ad out. You call them, you wake them up, charge them $10 per month. You have 20 clients, that's $200 right there.
Right.
It's so many ideas. You just got to sit down and think about, you know, okay, what can I do now to make money? It's so much stuff out here. You can make money off of everything. Everything nowadays. You just got to grab it.
So what would you tell some of the people out here as far as that are trying to get a second income going and just don't know what to do? You mentioned be creative with figuring out ways to make money. A lot of people, they aren't creative. You know, a lot of people that don't even have children and they're single. I mean, what do you tell a person like that who's struggling to make their rent or can't find a job?
Well, if you're single, there should be no such thing that you don't find a job, first of all. If you don't have no kids and nobody. Because you can do elderly care. It's a lot of older people. You can put your ads out, go in the retirement home, put ads out on a blackboard that you offer your service. Put it on Craigslist. Craigslist is the best source for everything. Put it on Craigslist that you offer your service for going shopping with elderly people, something. It's just so much out there, really. It's just all about getting it. Christmas season coming up. I don't know, offer them you're going to decorate their Christmas tree if they order something. Decorate their house, charge them a couple of dollars. It's so much you can do.
So there's no excuse to resort to gun-toting or crime out there.
No excuse at all. Money is everywhere out here.
Mm-hmm.
Everywhere. You just have to go and get it. That's all. That's all it is. And most of the time, it's sad to say, but in the suburbs, that's where the money is, really.
Mm.
In the city, it's really harder. Most of my clients are in the suburbs.
Okay.
And that's where really the money is.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. So go out, try to strive for the suburbs. And housekeeping, everybody can do. No matter if it's a man or a female.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody can clean a house. And that's great money out there. They pay $15 to $20 an hour.
Oh, that is good.
So it's great money. There should be no such thing that nobody can clean a house.
Mm-hmm.
They provide their cleaning supplies. You don't have to do nothing. Just show up. That's all you have to do. Lafayette Hill up the street. Great. They have so many mansions over there. They all need housekeeping. I used to work out there also.
Housekeeping or even groundskeeping. There's a lot of...
Absolutely.
I used to have a big house and there's always something to do.
Always something to do. Window cleaning, something. It's always something to do.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And you build your connection with one client. It starts with one client. And if you do a great job on that one client, that's how you build the connection, and they will refer you. Absolutely, because I started watching the autistic boy. I ended up with watching his grandma who had a stroke
Mm-hmm.
as elderly care because they loved me so much and they were so attached to me and they didn't trust nobody else. They brought her all the way from New York down here so I can watch her.
Wow.
So it's really all about making a good connection with the clients and keeping, do a great job.
So with all these different income streams from your side business, really, because that's what it is. You're a
Right.
business. You're in business. How much would you say that you earn? Do you make 30% of your weekly salary, 50%, or you equal your weekly salary?
No, with my side jobs, with the housekeeping jobs I have, I think I make 60%.
Wow, that's a lot of
I
money.
make 60% and 40% with my full-time job. But my full-time job I use because really it's a payroll job.
Right,
It's a definite, you get your medical through that.
right,
Everything is guaranteed.
right,
With your side jobs, of course it comes with no benefits.
right.
So therefore, yes, I had to get one Monday to Friday payroll job.
Okay.
That's the only reason why I had. Other than that, I wouldn't.
Okay. Now, where you're at now, you're budgeting to buy your home in a certain amount of time frame. Can you walk us through how you're budgeting for that and what then some of the sacrifices you're going to have to make towards purchasing your home?
For the home, well, first of all, since I'm on payroll, I definitely get tax income money now.
Yeah.
So I would definitely put all that to the side. And since I just upgraded my one client with another $100, so that's another $100 I can put to the side now.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a Tuesday job, and a Saturday job, and a Sunday job. So the Saturday jobs go for my child care.
Okay.
The Sunday job and the Tuesday job goes to the savings.
Okay.
And my Monday to Friday job goes for my living.
Okay. So you're basically saving almost 30% of your weekly income.
Sort of.
At least.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's awesome. That's very hard to do in a struggling economy.
Absolutely, but that's why I always say it's always you have to minimize every bill.
Right.
Every bill, minimize it as much as you can. See the clothes, I get the hand down, so that's a bill which is off for me. Cable, I don't have it, it's off.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a lot of things you have to, and furniture. I bought a table for $7.
Wow.
$7.
That table?
That table, $7.
It's a nice table.
Thank you. So you really have to, minimize everything. And like I say, Craigslist, great stuff for free. My son's bunk bed free in Phoenixville.
It's a really nice bunk bed. I've seen the bunk bed.
I love it, and I
What'd you spend
Googled
for
it.
that? About $1,200.
Yes, and I Googled it, it's $1,200.
Yeah, really?
And it came with mattress and everything for free.
That's incredible.
In Phoenixville. Oh, I drove out to Phoenixville to get that. I didn't care. Because at the end of the day, it's a free bunk bed for $1,200 and there was nothing wrong with it.
Right.
Nothing. Now they made a couple of scratches in there, but there was not even one scratch in there.
Wow.
It's just the kids moved out and they didn't need it anymore, but they needed a space.
So you're not too proud to have hand-me-downs. You're not too proud to get
Absolutely.
used
I have
furniture.
customized furniture in here. It's customized. Off of Craigslist for $20, but it's customized.
Yeah.
Nobody has that table. So it's really like, that's one thing I learned. Before I had my kids, I was always a little bit bougie to get hand-downs.
Mm-hmm.
But I think you learn as you go. Since I had 3 kids, at the beginning with my firstborn, I was still a little bit bougie. But since I had 3 kids, you learn as you go. Okay, look, you cannot have the best stuff anymore, but you can still have great stuff. But you just gotta get hand-downs now. That's the only thing, but there is nothing wrong with it. It's really not, in that time, in that era we live in, people hand down not just crap with holes in it and nothing, because that would be embarrassed to themselves.
Right.
They only hand down great stuff, honestly. So why not taking it?
Right.
Because other people walk the same way around with hand downs. It's just they don't say it, of course, in the open, but it's the same way everybody takes it nowadays.
Right. I get a lot of my suits
So,
from thrift stores.
Absolutely, and there's nothing
Jackets
wrong.
and
And
boots.
as long as your child walks around clean and your house is clean. I have so many friends, and it's just insane, which I told you earlier. No living room sets, no furniture in the house, nothing. And they've been living in these apartments for 3 years, she told me. And I asked her why she don't have it. Well, she want to purchase new stuff from Raymer and Flanagan. And I was like, but you don't have no Raymer and Flanagan money. So how about you just get something off of Craigslist, which was from Raymer and Flanagan, but it's just $500 less now because they sat on the couch already or something. Right. And it still looks great. But she said, no, well, I don't understand that kind of thinking. Because you do not have that kind of money, but you want to keep up with them where you can't do it. So therefore, you rather sit in a house with no furniture, which is insane.
It is insane. Now, is this more German thinking, or is this just Nicole thinking?
No, I really think it's my German ethic and my German background, that working. To me, it don't bother me working 7 days. It really do not bother me. And I hear it every day. Every day I hear it, that people telling me that it's insane that I work so much, how many more jobs I'm taking. I was like, it's many more I can't, really. Because that's money in my pocket, and therefore, I retire maybe 10 years earlier than they do. Right. That's the only sacrifice I make right now. But, in 20 years, I retire. I've been in this country 8 years. I built more up in these 8 years than, sad to say, than some of the Americans in 30 years in this country. Right. I have much, much more materialistic stuff than they have. And they've been their whole life over here. Career-wise, I achieved much, much more in these 8 years, in this short time frame. And at one point, after 2 years, I went back home when I had my firstborn. I was like, okay, this is all getting too much. I need a support net. I went back home. I gave everything up. And I went back home, and after 2 weeks, I came back and started back from scratch.
You had nothing.
Nothing again.
And you started from scratch.
So basically, I made all this within 6 years again now. Within 6 years, I built all this back up. I sold everything. So within 6 years, I built everything back up now. That's why I say, it's sad to say, but the American work ethic is
lazy, complacent.
Compared
She's
to
not
that.
Insulting Americans.
No, absolutely not. But it's a fact and it's a truth. If I go to the grocery stores, I can see it. The cashier chit-chatting with the next cashier instead of scanning my stuff and trying to get me out the store, knowing everybody's in a rush nowadays. Right. But no, they so busy to talk with the next cashier, what they wearing the next day, outfit-wise and everything, or who called them on the phone, or who text them constantly, instead of doing what they get paid for. Right. So it's really different. Even at my full-time job, I see it. I prep documents. Their work ethic is insane. I told one girl, I was like, she told me I need to slow down my work. And I was like, why? She was like, well, why are you working yourself to death? And I was like, well, that's what I get paid for. And she said, yeah, but everybody turns in only 3 boxes. And I was like, okay, that's them. I prep as many boxes as I can, and if I can prep 5 boxes, I prep 5 boxes within these 8 hours. This is what they pay me for. They do not pay me for just to say, okay, 3 boxes, because I'm trying to relax over here. So that's the difference. Their work ethic is totally different. Totally different. In Germany, you work. You take your 2 weeks out of the year vacation, and you really go somewhere to Spain or somewhere to relax, but then you come back and work the rest of the year. And you really and safe. Work and save for the next trip and for your house. Right. And that's all we do. This is the only goal. Over here is work for the Friday evening to get a new outfit. Right. And to get your hair done and to get your nails done. That's all they working over here for. Absolutely. And that's it. That's real. It's sad to say, but it's a fact. Because I hear it and I socialize with a lot of them. That's the only thing what they work for.
This is it. So, what advice do you have for some of the young people that are in high school and they're first of all, let me just back up. Let's talk about your education.
Yes.
Because you're obviously smarter than a lot of us, at least when it comes to managing and budgeting. So surely you got to have a PhD in finance or economics. Surely you've graduated with the highest honors from your university.
How
So,
about that?
so tell us your education.
Okay, my education is really complicated. I went to Germany to a German school, and when I started college over here at the CCP, they told me everything is fine for my degree. I sent it to FASA to apply for a loan and everything went through the first year. Then I transferred over to Strayer. Then I had to apply again for a loan and for the grants, and Strayer told me my German degree is not accepted. I had to get it
Wow.
translated and everything.
Wow.
They say it's not accepted over here. Right here. It's 0. So therefore, it's like high school, but that's about it. There's no college credits, nothing.
The education pretty much didn't mean anything here.
Anything in this country. Between raising the kids, making money, which is much more important making the money right now than going to school. Okay, I had to give the school up really. And since they didn't accept my degree, I didn't put the effort in of running around and trying to get it somehow credited. And so I ended up with a deck for these couple of classes for $3,000, which I'm paying off right now. And yes, so therefore no education, but I think I'm at pretty decent money for that nobody gives me credit for my education in Germany. And like I say, I have 13 years in Germany of education, which means over there really a lot. Over there you can really get great jobs with that education, but it's just over here it's not credited.
Right. So you don't have to be a rocket scientist to do the kinds of financial management that you've achieved.
Not at all.
Okay.
Not at all. In no circumstance.
But you still recognize that education is important here in this country.
Absolutely. It's number one. You need education to build something up on it.
Mm-hmm.
Because even when I go online, always in Google for new jobs, it's always a requirement, at least a bachelor degree.
At least.
And I definitely push my kids towards that too. We do read our stories every night and do our reading little tests and all that.
You're priming them for a higher education.
Absolutely. My son, he's going to enter our mentor program now in February when he turns 7. So I'm always pushing them into, to strive for that, to get more and more and more. And I always teach them that. Absolutely. When they, when you can tell, they're getting a little bit on the lazy side, I'll be like, no, there's no time for that. So I'm constantly making them aware, you gotta work. Okay, this is how this country is built on.
Right.
And you have to get your education if you want to get somewhere.
Okay, so that's a good message for the high schoolers out there. And a lot of the young people, their thinking is, I'm going to get a job, and I'm going to buy a really nice car. I'm going to get the designer clothes.
No, it's much easier if you have a higher education. If I would have a higher education, I wouldn't have no 4 or 5 jobs, first of all. One job wouldn't do it. But because I do not have accredited
Right.
school degrees in this country, that's the only reason why I work 4 or 5 jobs.
Okay.
Definitely, because I would definitely get paid more. Now, of course, you can always have a little side job. There's nothing wrong with it for a little bit extra benefits. But I would only probably have 1, not 3 other ones. I have at the current moment 4 jobs. If I were to have a good degree, I probably would have 1 full-time job and 1 side job. That's it. But I have to have these 2 other jobs to get my savings in. Because without the 2 other jobs, I couldn't save no dime up.
Right.
So that's a sad fact on it.
I was a vice president at one point, and I had a second job.
Absolutely.
I would dress up for $8 an hour in a mascot suit, and wherever they needed me,
You had to go.
I had to pick up my suit. I was a Twinkie. I was the Snuggles bear
Yeah,
at Kmart's grand opening.
Yeah.
I did a few of those jobs because it was fun.
Yeah.
I didn't need the extra income so much, but it certainly paid a few bills.
Absolutely.
$8 an hour, even with the taxes out, paid something.
And that's one more thing I want to mention. A lot of the people I talk to, they always telling me, like, why you waking up for $8, or why you waking up for minimum wage?
Right.
Which I think is not really smart thinking, because you have to start up somewhere if you wouldn't have no education. I know some people, they don't even have education in this country, born and raised, no high school degree, but they want to have a job where they start up with $12, $13 an hour. It's unrealistic. It's totally unrealistic to make that. You will start up with minimum wage somewhere, and you have to work yourself up, and that's when the connection comes in. You start up with minimum wage and you build your connections up, and that's how you make more money. But if you cannot expect that you're coming out of high school and start up with a $50 job, it's not at all.
And that's a great message, especially for the young people.
Absolutely. Everybody will start up with minimum wage at one point. You have no experience. Experience is number one, what every employer look at. You're coming out of high school, you have no experience whatsoever. So they will only pay you $7.25. There is no such thing. You get an $8, $9 job. And you just work yourself up. You prove them that you're a great worker. Don't call out every Friday or on Monday because you party too much on the weekend. We have one of them too at my job. She's ready to lose the job. Don't call out too many days. Make all these other appointments in the evening or on the weekends. Don't call out too many days, and just show them that you always on time. That's another thing Americans have. Always be on time, because your job starts at 8. That means at 8 o'clock you need to sit on your desk working. That do not mean walk in at 8 o'clock.
Right.
That's another thing a lot of them have. And that's why I hear it always from employees. They always telling me that you really be there at 8 o'clock and work. You do not just walk in.
A lot of the young people that worked for me, if I constantly tell them, leave your cell phone in your car. I'm not paying you to talk to your friends.
Correct.
And you know, punctuality. I let them know from day one.
That's
if
terrible.
you're late, I'm gonna take it out on you some kind of way.
It's a bad habit.
But there's a lot of habits, particularly with the younger people, my interns and things, where they haven't gotten it yet.
Absolutely. You always replaceable. As quick as you came in the company, as quick as you go out. And that's always what you need to keep in your mind, that motto. You're always replaceable. And there's always somebody out there who works for minimum wage and who do not complain. So you always need to keep that in mind.
How about the young people trying to save up for college or trying to determine should they go to college? I mean, in your opinion, what's the steps they should take? And in addition to that, should they even consider thinking long term about their retirement?
Oh, absolutely. Your retirement, this is why I save. I save right now for my house, and after that, it goes everything into the retirement. I have my 401k, even though my employer do not chip in, but I personally chip in. You always have to think about it. Even if you don't have a 401k, still put something always to the side for rainy days. You never know what happens. You might have a car accident, something always happens. Your parents might kick you out because they get tired of you. So at least you have a couple of dollars that you can get your first place right away. You always need a couple of dollars on the side, no matter what. So you always need to have a long-term thinking. And I know it's hard for young people.
Absolutely.
Who just graduate. All they're thinking about is the party life at that current moment. But still keep that in the back of your head. You know, put out of these $20 or $30 you waste on the weekend, put $10 to the side. Always do. It's very important because things happen so quick. I live in an apartment complex, and this is my 3rd year, and within that 3rd year I saw 5 people getting evicted. They did not even live 1 year in here. Within 1 year, no kids, no nothing. One had a husband, both working, but it's all about how you set your priorities also.
Exactly.
Your priorities are very important. You need to set your priorities to a very important standard, really. Your roof's supposed to be at number 1, and your food. The rest comes along. You're going out, it's going nowhere. It still will be here. Your restaurants and everything still will be here when you're 50 years old. It's going nowhere, really. So make sure your priorities is always straight. When you graduate, your first priority is supposed to be, before you graduate, your priority definitely supposed to be, okay, what do I want to do now? Do I go to college? Do I serve this country?
Always military service is an option.
It's an option, and I tell everybody it's a great option. I want my kids to be there.
Really?
Absolutely. All my 3 kids, I want them to serve. Because it's a great possibility to get, if you don't have a lot of college money, which I really know 100%, I cannot give them all that college money which they need. Join the military, they will fund your college. You can go to school for free. So if you coming from a family with a background which is financially not really stable that they can give you that. Before you take all these loans out and everything, join the military. They will fund your college 100%. 100%, and all you got to put in is 5 years.
Wow.
That they're gonna, fund your whole college.
That's amazing.
That's all, and you get sign-up bonuses and everything. It's a great life in there. Right now, it's peaceful, so it's really not an issue. So you really need to, look at your options, what you're going to do, and how you're going to finance everything. But definitely go further with your education. Definitely get a bachelor's degree. Associate don't mean nothing. You need at least a bachelor's degree.
I want you to say it one more time because a lot of people don't believe it. Say it again.
Associate's degree do not mean nothing nowadays. Nobody is looking at it or even listening to if you have an associate degree. That's like a high school degree.
Right.
Associate is equal to high school degree. It don't mean nothing. Bachelor degree, okay, you get a little bit get recognized a little bit, but it's a step ahead in the right direction.
Mm-hmm.
But you definitely need a bachelor degree nowadays to get at least your $13, $14 pay. That's at least.
At a minimum.
Minimum, correct.
Okay.
Absolutely. But other than that, you definitely need some kind of education. And definitely figure out before you graduate which way you're going to take to finance that school. But you definitely have to go.
Nicole, thank you so much for sharing your infinite wisdom, and I mean, it's just common sense approach to budgeting,
That's
to
all
finance. It's setting your priorities straight in your life and how you're going to manage them, and it's having a sense of goals,
Yes.
That you have to work toward.
And for me personally, the hardest thing is I don't have nobody where I can go and get resources how to make money in this country. I have to figure out everything on myself, basically.
Right.
I have to find out everything myself. I utilize a lot the internet, very much a lot. For everything I Google, and it's prioritize, and research before you take any kind of steps in your life. That's the most important, because other than that, it's really hard. Like I say, I don't have nobody. If I have any questions, there's nobody who I can go to. So therefore, and it's still, even though I've been here now 80 years, but it's always a wall there where I run against to, but I have to figure out how to get through it. So that's when the internet comes in, or I just have to sit down and brainstorm for a minute. Okay, what should I do? Would that work?
Right.
So that's the only thing you can do. And for Americans, it should be definitely much, much easier to find a way, because they know which season, which jobs is good, when people hire. They know these things. I don't know these things yet.
Right.
I still have to figure all this out.
But somehow she persevered.
I still make it.
She persevered. Nicole, thank you so much for sharing your time and letting us invade your home. Until next time, everyone, have a good evening.
Good night.